Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Reduced Energy Use DC Energy Break. I am Lamont Akins, Senior Manager for Strategic Initiatives and External Engagement at Pepco. If you did not know, Reduced Energy Use DC is an initiative championed by Pepco, the DC Department of Energy and Environment, the DC Sustainability Energy Utility, along with a coalition of more than 20 nonprofit organizations that are focused on climate change. Together, we can make a difference if we all act to reduce energy use. Reducing your energy use can save money and help combat climate change. Reduce Energy Use DC brings together the DC community to raise awareness of how our actions can save more than money. For more information and to sign the pledge to reduce energy use, please go to reduceenergyusedc.com. This afternoon, during today's energy break, we will discuss the importance of solar energy and solar panels. You will get the inside scoop on how they do work and what programs are available in DC to assist residents to get them installed. Let me introduce our panelists for today's discussion. First, we have Krista Virgil, the Director of Organizational Development and Customer Support at Groundswell. Next, we have Alex Moore, Manager of Green Power Connection at Pepco. Let's welcome our panelists. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Doing great. Thanks for the invite. Glad to be with you all today.
Thank you. I would like to start by giving each of you an opportunity to tell us about your respective organizations and how you got involved in solar energy. Let's start with Crystal.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lamont. So as Lamont shared, I'm Groundswell's Director of Organizational Development and Customer Support. I've been with Groundswell now for the last 5 years as head of HR, really focused on recruitment and culture and making Groundswell a really incredible place to work, as well as really supporting our customers. And so I am all things to people and for people within Groundswell. For Groundswell, our vision really is to make clean energy accessible to everyone. You know, our energy systems, like most legacy systems, have been infused with injustice that do particular harm to communities of color. Some of the poorest 20% of Americans pay the most for electricity. 10% usually or more of their total household income on average is spent paying a utility bill. More than half of the country can't even access solar. And so we really focus on community empowerment and energy equity. So we serve as developers to build equitable community solar projects that provide free subscriptions to those who are income qualified. Through our research and development initiatives that we've recently kicked off the ground, we really focus on how to make solar project finance work equitably for low-income communities to really connect the renewable energy buying power of corporate sustainability leaders to community benefits and local priorities. We're currently working with Thomas with the DOEE, the Solar for All program. We are really excited and blessed to work with them on the Solar for All initiative to lead the way to a cleaner energy future for DC residents. We're serving over 3,700 customers with customer support, answering questions about the Solar for All program, and ensuring residents are getting the energy savings that they deserve. Separately, Groundswell has 5 community solar projects in operation in DC, and we have several free subscriptions available to those who are interested. And so feel free to learn more information about Groundswell on our website. It's www.groundswell.org, and you can learn more information about our organization, an opportunity to also take part in community solar as well.
Sounds good, Crystal. And we noticed that Thomas just joined us. Let me introduce Thomas. Thomas Bartholomew is the branch chief of renewable energy and clean transportation at DOEE. And Thomas, we had started the conversation about telling us about your respective organizations and how you got involved in solar energy.
Yeah, thanks, Lamont. So I'm very privileged to work at the DC Department of Energy and Environment, working to provide the benefits of solar energy to low and moderate income district residents for free. As Crystal said, we work with Groundswell. They're one of our partners in the Solar for All program. They help to ensure that all of our Solar for All customers have a great customer experience and get the benefits that they're entitled to through the program. We have a program to provide. Now, I mean, it's now thousands of district residents with up to around $500 in savings from the benefits of solar energy. So we build solar systems all throughout the district. Those solar systems generate energy every day. Today is a pretty sunny day, so it's probably generating a lot of energy. And if you sign up for the program, you can get a share of that energy, and it will reduce your Pepco bill, and there's no cost to you to do so.
Thank you, Thomas. What about you, Alex?
Thanks, Lamont, and thanks for having me. So, as Lamont said, I'm Alex Ramon, manager for the Green Power Connection team. Pepco, those of you that are not familiar with Pepco, so Pepco, we are an excellent company, and we serve in various territories: DC, Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware. So Pepco obviously is your energy provider in the District of Columbia. So we provide distribution electricity for you guys. So so my team is the Green Power Connection team. And how did I get involved with solar? So our team is basically the central point of connection to all solar or DER. So we provide that interconnection point to our grid. So everybody that decides to go with solar or any distributed energy, we are your connection point. So the Green Power team seeks to provide the seamless interconnection process to whether it's customers who are trying to put rooftop solar, contractors like Groundswell or DOE who want to build community solar farms. So we are that interconnection point for our customers.
Thank you, Alex. And I just want our audience to know that when you ask a question, you will be entered into a drawing to receive 4 tickets either to a Washington Nationals game or a DC United game. So we look forward to answering your questions. So now I have a few questions to ask our panelists, starting with Crystal. How do solar panels work and how are they installed? And other members can feel free to chime in as well.
Absolutely. Great question, Lamont. So there are some really technical answers to that question. I am not the technical person, so I will not give you a technical answer. I will do my best to provide the simplest answer possible. And it's basically that solar panels work by allowing particles of sunlight to knock electrons free to generate basically a flow of electricity. And so there's a couple of ways, and I'll just talk about 2 ways, and then I'll invite my future panelists to also feel free to answer. But there's rooftop solar, where panels are installed or placed on residential rooftops. It can be a house or a townhouse, and those panels are then receive the sun that comes and shines on those panels. It's connected through Pepco to the grid, so that then at the end of the month, when you get your electricity bill, you should see a credit showing the energy that was used or consumed or produced from those solar panels, that then show up as a credit on your electricity bill. And then there's community solar, which is Groundswell's kind of specialty in our wheelhouse of really focusing on equitable community solar projects where solar panels are placed on a community building. So either a church, we often work with churches, or some other business or organization in the area who's mission aligned and vision aligned and wants to help their community. The solar panels are placed on their property. It's interconnected through Pepco, and Groundswell then has what you'd be called as a subscriber or a participant to a community solar project. The nice thing about community solar is there's no need to have to own your own home or or you can live in an apartment, you can rent. It doesn't matter, as long as you're paying an electricity bill, whether you rent your own home or not, you can participate in a community solar project. So it really takes away some of the red tape involved in maybe the need to have to own your own home or anything like that. So the community solar is just a really great opportunity for anyone to be involved in the solar movement. By only having, as long as you pay an electricity bill, you can be involved in a community solar project.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Crystal. Did anyone have anything to add to that?
I mean, Krista did a great job describing how solar panels and the overview work. I mean, I'm not an expert either, but my background is engineering, but I'll try to. I mean, as she explained, I mean, solar converts sunlight into energy, and that's the energy that gets converted into electricity. So depending on how you want to install your solar panels, whether it's on your roof or the community solar, but it has to get to your home one way or the other. So that's when it's mainly in DC, and you have to put technology such as inverters to convert that to AC, which normally all our homes take is AC power. So that's in a nutshell, that's how solar panels work. And I mean, traditionally we've known generation of electricity through fuels and other sources, hydro, but solar, I mean, takes away that use of other energy other resources, and using the natural sunlight to generate power for your homes. And in a nutshell, that's how solar works. And obviously, like Crystal said, then if you're ready to put it on your roof, in this current time you need a Pepco to interconnect, and that's how we come in.
Sounds good. Thomas, let's go to you. How can solar energy help fight climate change?
That's a great question, Lamont. So, so solar is it doesn't produce greenhouse gases. So as Crystal described, it's just the sun interacting with the panel, and that creates a flow of electricity. So it doesn't require burning fossil fuels, which you have to do if you get power from coal or natural gas. So it's therefore it's clean energy. It doesn't produce the greenhouse gases that those other power sources do, and those power sources contribute to the greenhouse gas effect, which so our atmosphere has a certain amount of different gases in it, CO2 being one of them, but too much CO2 changes basically how the Earth's atmosphere works, and it creates a hotter planet. So it traps more heat into the Earth's atmosphere when you have too much CO2. So, this is something scientists have known about since the 19th century. This is some people have been aware of. There's actually, you can find physicists that have been talking about worrying about greenhouse gases causing climate change since like the 1900s or early 1900s, and so we luckily have discovered how to make solar panels work cheaply and efficiently, and they're now one of the cheapest ways that you can get your electricity, which is really great. So they're one of the most affordable way to get electricity, and the district has created a lot of really great incentives so that if you don't get solar through us, you're probably paying more than you have to. So if you don't have the money to go up front to get solar, like a lot of residents do, you can get solar from us through Solar for All. If you do have the money to go up front, you can save a lot of money, thousands of dollars a year on your electric bill by going solar. And it's a great way to help the planet and help your bottom line.
Since Thomas, you mentioned Solar for All, can you explain to us what Solar for All is? But also, I'm new to solar, and I was having a discussion, I believe it was DC Green Bank, to where if you install solar, you can get like some type of credit. If you could let us know what is Solar for All, and how do you get the credits?
Yeah, so Mayor Bowser and the DC City Council had sort of a vision for how they wanted clean energy to be deployed in the district. They wanted, the mayor is fond of talking about, pathways to the middle class. She didn't think that clean energy should be something that was just for rich people who wanted to put it on their house. It should be for everybody in the district to take advantage of, and it should be able to save district residents money and let them, build up a savings net that can help them, with their day-to-day needs and join the middle class. So that was the vision for Solar for All. That's the idea behind it. And basically the idea is we've taken money. There's sort of a charge that the electric suppliers in the district pay to meet the district's sort of clean energy mandate. So we have a mandate that we get so much of our energy from clean energy, and they pay a fee if they don't meet that mandate, and that fee gets deposited with the district government, and we use the proceeds of that fee to build solar energy right here in the district. Mm-hmm. And Solar for All is a way of turning over the benefits of that solar, which the fees have helped to pay for, to income qualified district residents, so they can get the benefits of solar energy free of charge, and that amounts to about $500 in savings every year, which you would see on your Pepco bill. So if you sign up with Solar for All, on your I don't know, everybody doesn't always look closely at their electric bills, I know, but if you looked at your electric bill, you would see a whole bunch of different charges, and then you would see a Solar for All charge would be a nice minus, right? So the total will go down, right? So normally you pay $50 a month, you get a nice little minus from us, and it goes down, so you, at the end of the year, you would have saved around $500 from all those minuses. And that basically corresponds with the amount of energy that the system produces.
Thank you, Thomas. And I know you mentioned Pepco and the interconnection. So let's go to Alex. And Alex, you may have answered this question about how does Pepco support solar interconnections, but I want to ask also, I assume that I still would get a Pepco bill if I have solar on my roof. But does that also affect my meter? Because I know we now have smart meters throughout the district. So how does that really work?
Yeah, Lamont, as far as affecting your meter, yeah. So if you're going to put in solar on your roof, or especially if you're going to have solar, rooftop solar, it will affect your meter in the sense that you're going to need a meter that's by what we call a bi-directional meter. And that meter is going to have to be reading what you're generating and what you're using. So that's what's used to calculate your credits. So the meter will be affected if you have rooftop solar. Now, like Thomas and Krista saying, when you talk about community solar, you don't necessarily have to do anything with your meter, because now you're subscribing to that community solar, and organizations like Krista's organization of DOEE are the ones responsible. You subscribe to them, and your energy credits are calculated that way, so it doesn't affect your meter, so you won't need a meter exchange at that point. But in conjunction to that, what we do is working with what we call our subscriber organization, which would be a Groundswell or DOE, is that we help generate what we call reports, and those reports are critical to them for calculation of the energy credit bills that you end up seeing on your on the bill. So even though you're subscribed with Groundswell DOEE, you still have to see those credits from your subscription on your Pepco bill. So,
okay, thank you for that. And this is for all of our panelists. What programs do your organizations offer that assist DC residents in getting solar panels installed? And I think we can start with Crystal. I know that, I'm not sure if Groundswell does this, and maybe Thomas knows. I thought there was a program that we had in the city that assists low-income to moderate-income families to get solar put on their roofs.
Absolutely. So Lamont, Groundswell has a couple of different programs or areas where folks can get involved and see some savings on their utility bills. I know one is through our share power model for community solar, where the thought there really is about loving thy neighbor as thyself, and a way in which neighbors can share power with one another. And so on our share power projects, we have always there's space for empowered customers, and so those who would be considered low income qualified customers, we like to call them empowered versus leading with someone's income status, But and then we have those who are market rate customers who are paying for a subscription with Groundswell to be a part of a community solar program. And so someone would pay a small fee per month to be a part of a community solar subscription, to be a part of the community solar family. And then for each person that's paying on the project, there's someone that's receiving a free subscription in the district to really see the savings on their electricity bill. Everyone that's on the community solar project, they're going to save. It's just really nice to know that there are neighbors that are willing to also share that power with others. That provides a free subscription. And so we have projects that are within that share power model. And then we have a couple of projects that we built through the innovation and expansion grant with the Solar for All program. I think back in like 2018 or so, that those projects are considered our Solar for All projects. And 100% of those subscriptions over the next 20 years will be free subscriptions that go to DC residents. The application process is pretty simple. We've done our best to really try our best to provide an excellent customer service, leading with respect, prioritizing people, and serving with joy really is Groundswell's motto. And so one of the ways we're continuing to serve the community is through community solar. And so applying, I think it's maybe a one-page application, a copy of your Pepco bill, all pages. And then just for the income qualification, there's like one or two, like a piece of paper that you'd want to show that shows either you qualify for RAD or for one of the programs that folks may already be getting benefits through or for. There's that income qualification piece are the things that we need to get someone signed up for community solar. And so those are just kind of a couple of the ways in which folks can get involved, either through the share power model. They're willing to pay a premium in order to share power with their neighbor, or those who are able to sign up and get income qualified to be a part of the solar movement, the clean energy movement in the district.
Okay, thank you. Thomas, did DOEE have any additional programs?
Yeah, so we have 2 ways for residents to get solar installed for free on their home if they're income qualified. And so the income qualifications, just roughly speaking, if you're one person in your household, the income threshold is you have to make under, I think it's like $70,250, somewhere around there. The actual numbers on our website, but that's roughly it. So it was a lot of people in the district would certainly qualify for that program. And so we have 2 ways to do that. There's one through the DC SEU program, which is it works the same way as our Solar for All program, except you have to live in a single family house to get the panels. I mean, you don't actually have to own the house. So if you're renting from somebody and they consent to it, you could get the panels installed on the roof too. But you have to live in a single family house. And then we also have a program called Solar Works DC, which is a solar training program. But as part of their training, they do free installs for income qualified residents. And so that's another way to do that. And so you can find out more about both of those programs on DOEE's website.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Alex, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, as far as programs, I mean, obviously Pepco, we don't run any programs, but I just wanted to add that, some of the programs that, at least Thomas mentioned or Crystal, is that we do, one way Pepco supports the solar is we work with DOE on the Solar for All program. So what we do is to ensure that, all the facilities that they're, planning on installing and developing, that we get them online in a seamless way and as fast as we can. So we work with DOE and we work with the other developers for community solar to ensure that their facilities pass through the technical reviews and they can interconnect to a grid. Just to give you an idea of our support in that, we have probably over 200 community solar facilities just in the District of Columbia and probably over 4,000 subscribers. Solar in itself in DC, we probably have maybe over 2 megawatts of installed capacity just in the District of Columbia. So to put some perspective to that, I mean, average household usage in DC is probably 800 kW or something like that. So kind of gives you an idea of how much solar is just in the District of Columbia. So that's how we find ourselves supporting some of those programs.
You mentioned that, and Thomas, I don't know if you have this answer, or Crystal, I had heard that we're our jurisdiction pays the most towards solar credits than any other jurisdiction in our country.
We have the most valuable solar credits. So the district has created a big incentive for folks to go solar. So if you install solar panels in the district, you're going to get paid through credits more than anybody else.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
We do have a question from one of our audience members. Tyron Barnes asks, what happens if a resident generates more energy than they use?
You mean with rooftop solar panels? So the Public Service Commission, I think, just increased the threshold for usage, so that you can actually generate more. I think it's up over 120% now, and it's going to go up to 200% eventually. So you could actually eventually generate twice as much as you use, and that would be okay. And what happens is you get net metering credits for that. So your meter, instead of always running forward, would actually run backwards, and you would get an additional benefit on your electric bill for doing that.
Yeah, Lamont, I mean, to Thomas' point, that's the whole essence of net energy metering, right? So, I mean, I think increasing that usage percentage will be a huge benefit for the residents. I mean, that's money in the bank, I guess.
So, Alex, if my meter is running backwards, I mean, eventually my bill could be zero.
No. So people still have to pay just for the service, because it's like you get two charges on your bill, right? And Alex could explain this too, I'm sure. But you get one charge just for being subscribed to the service, or the cost of you pay for just the cost of the service, and then you also pay for your usage, right? So you pay for both. Right? You pay towards the infrastructure that Pepco maintains, and you pay for how much electricity you use. So you're probably not going to go down to zero, but you could have a pretty small bill. Last month, because I got solar on my roof, my bill was only $18 for the month. So
oh wow,
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Interesting. I have another question, and Crystal. So I live in a condo building. How can you help me? Because in our city, we have a lot of multifamily units throughout the district. So how can they engage with solar?
Absolutely. So that's the nice thing about community solar, Lamont. I would recommend to you to subscribe to a community solar project. The nice thing about community solar is whether you live in an apartment or a condo, all you have to do is be a DC resident paying an electricity bill, and you could be a part of a community solar project. And so I know DC has some, or not DC, I know the Solar for All program. I know it's currently recruiting for residents in the DC area that are interested. And so I think they've got ways you can go online and just apply. And then of course, Groundswell, we have some projects that have openings and spaces where with the application, with the copy of your electricity bill, you'd simply give us a call, send that information in, and we can hook you guys up with a solar subscription so that you're able to partake in solar and start seeing the savings on your utility bills.
So would that be the whole building as far as just the common areas, or is that individual?
It would be
unit?
Individual. So if in the condo you're paying your own electricity bill,
Correct.
And each person within the condo would want to sign up, and they'd see the energy savings on their electricity bill. That's correct.
Okay, I have to look into that.
Yeah. And just Lamont, to add to that, I think Crystal can correct me there. One benefit of that, if you go that route, is that you can subscribe. I mean, obviously, Crystal wants you to be with Groundswell, but you can subscribe to more than one facility, and that you can you can have multiple subscriptions based on what you're allowed. And then I think one thing to consider is that I think you have to be a customer for the electric company within where your subscription is.
Correct.
Since you mentioned that, but do I have to go and find each subscription, or is there one marketplace to where a resident can go and say, hey, let me sign up for these 4? Or do I have to go and find, go to Groundswell and go to Vault Energy, just
I'll have to look into that, Alex, because I want to say I know with Groundswell and DOEE, if ever we find a duplicate, we do there. Like I think you can possibly only have just the one subscription with a solar site. Now, Groundswell I think offers on the specific project it may be like a 3 kilowatt percentage or 3 kilowatts that a subscriber has as a part of a community solar project. You don't have to, as Alex mentioned, it is kind of, you do have to have a DC Pepco bill. And so but then you can subscribe to any project within the district. And you don't necessarily have to select which one you want to be a part of. That usually is probably the community solar developer's portion to place you on a project that is likely the one that's most available, so that you can start seeing those energy credits as soon as possible. I know there's some projects that have wait lists. And so so when there is a open and free spot, it's nice to jump in and get on to a project so you can start seeing those energy savings. But community solar really does allow anyone who pays an electricity bill, whether you rent or own your own home, to participate in a community solar project. And there's no rooftop solar installation required. We will partner with either a local organization whose mission is giving back to the community, place the solar panels on their rooftop or field or space, and then DC residents can sign up to subscribe to be a part of a solar project. And so it's a really an amazing, I think community solar really is a game changer for folks, where residential solar at one time was just really not cost effective. And it really was for those who were privileged to be able to, exclusive to have solar. But it's nice to know that now everyone can have the opportunity to have that access to solar.
Thank you. That's good information. So we have a question from Shannon. What percentage of solar power energy would DC need to produce to be self-sufficient? And by what year could that be possible?
That's a good question, Shannon. So I don't think that the goal is that we would be self-sufficient in the sense that every electron that we used was actually produced in the district. But the district has a goal of getting 10% of its electricity from locally generated solar. I think it's by 2045 is the goal. Maybe I think it's either 2040 or 2045, one of those two dates. But 10% is actually a lot, considering the district is a small place and the solar panels have to go up on your roof. And so that would be a lot of energy if we could do that. That would be a really momentous thing, a really big change to how the city operates. So that's what we're trying to do. But the goal is to get to be 100% renewable eventually as well. And so that means that all the electricity that's being imported into the district is clean energy, zero carbon, renewable, clean energy. And we also think that is doable. And so the goal is to get to that around the same time. Is the 10% goal.
Thank you for that. So we also have a question from Joe. What is offered to small businesses who want to utilize solar energy? Are there differences between those and residential offers?
Yeah, so a lot of the incentives are the same. So there's a federal income tax credit. Part of it depends on how your small business is structured. With if you could take advantage of the income tax credit, or if you could take advantage of the commercial tax credit. So there's that question. So, but whichever production tax credit you can take advantage of for solar, you can get significant savings, a significant rebate on the cost of installing the solar system. Currently, the income tax credit is set at 26%, so you could get back 26% of the cost of installing it. And then, like I said, you can earn renewable energy credits for every 1,000 kilowatt hours that your system produces. And so for every 1,000 kilowatt hours your system produces, you get a credit that's worth today somewhere between $400 and $425. And so you could expect, a system that my system, I can just use that as a reference point because that's what I'm most familiar with. So I can give you a sense of how many credits I've earned. But so from January till now that my system has been operating, it's about 6 months, about half the year. I have over 4,000 kilowatt hours that it's generated. So that's $1,600 in revenue already just through half the year. So you can see that just even a small system like mine, which just covers the roof the size of a row house, can save you, several $1,000s a year. And so we usually think of the payback period in terms of the cost of installing the system. You get it paid back within about 5 years in the district. And so, so you think about that. If you're investing in a small business, you expect to be in business, for the next 20 years. That's like the life of the panels, the system. You could pay it back in 5 years and then be earning positive revenue for the next 15. So it can be a significant savings to you and your business that can help defray other costs that you would have.
And also, yeah, that sounds good. Crystal, is a small business or a business in general, can they participate in community solar?
Great question, Lamont. So for community solar, right now, the way it's set up with Groundswell, it is residents only that are subscribing to community solar projects. I think, I know we're in conversation in Maryland. There's a project that we're currently building, and there is a question whether or not small businesses could become subscribers. And so we have had that question often. And so it is certainly something we're considering and thinking about what are some ways in which that can be possible. Right now, for community solar, it is specifically for residents, for DC residents, and not for small businesses to participate.
Right. And Alex, you have something to add?
Oh, no, yeah. And I was just going to probably ask Crystal that, is that something, maybe just for the audience to clarify, is that something that's required by regulation, that it's only residents that subscribe to community solar?
No, the regulation just specifies that a community solar system needs to have 2 account subscribers. So it needs to be 2 accounts for it to count as community solar. So there's nothing in the rules that would limit it. It would depend on, you would obviously have to have a community solar system that you could get set up with. You would need to have either an installer install one, that you could maybe share with another account. Sometimes small businesses have more than one account. So if you had 2 accounts, you could just do it for your business, or you could share with another business or what have you. But yeah, that's it's just a matter of having a system to connect to. But there's nothing in the regulations that precludes it.
Thank you for that.
Lamont, just to add to that same question, maybe in the same light the question was asked, some of the benefits, maybe not so much for credits, but for a small business, we've seen some of them where they install solar for complete load offsetting. So depending on what their business is, they'll install solar panels just to offset the energy use, and obviously seeing reductions in their bill due to load offsetting.
So what is offsetting?
So load offsetting is essentially when, like the other question, when you're generating. So, during peak hours when the solar is producing, most of its energy, they're able to harness that energy from the solar, where that's what they're using to run their business, whether it's lights or whatever they're running, and they're not using it to selling it back to the grid to get the credit. So mainly using it for load offsetting during the peak hours and when they get the most out of their system.
Okay, that sounds good. We have come to the end of our time. I want to thank our panel, Crystal, Thomas, and Alex, for that great discussion on solar panels. I want to thank you, our virtual guests, for participating in today's energy break. Don't forget to join us in fighting climate change by signing the pledge to reduce energy use, and you will get an opportunity to be entered into a random drawing to receive a $300 credit towards your Pepco bill. You can sign the pledge at reduceenergyusedc.com. And again, thank you. Stay cool and have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all.